Good morning, VIPs. Pre-market prep. Market seems stable lately. I'll call it complacent. This is a bear market rally, but is that bear market over? It might be. It might not be. All right. My I talk about this all the time, but anyway, let's assume this is a bear market rally for a second. What are our targets? You can see the QQQ broke above the 20 DMA. If you look at the other bear market rallies, not necessarily did a break of the 20 DMA take you to the 50. The first one did. The first one not only took you to the 50, but also briefly went above the 200, right? Which kind of tricked me there in that one. But in any case, yeah, I mean, you could look at those major moving averages and say, look, we could be heading to 297. Let's see what the SPY looks like. Similar here over the 20 DMA, and is also historically with bear market rallies similar. The first one broke the 200 DMA, and the subsequent ones had trouble getting past the 20 DMA. But if it were to go to 50, 396 is over there, and ARKK looks much better with a break of the 50 DMA here. But it did do that before, so there was a little head fake. Now, earnings are coming up for the big mega cap stocks in like 2 weeks or so. So that could be the catalyst to end the rally if there are going to be warnings or misses or guidance is going to be low, things like that. So that's something to watch for. I really don't know where it's going to go at this point. I'm enjoying seeing commodities down below key moving averages. I only see oil up this morning, but everything else crushed, right? So as long as commodities and energy and everything stay low, that's going to be a good sign for us. But I really don't know what's going to happen at this point with the big cap earnings and how that's going to affect the major indices. I do continue to think, though, that very high chance the bottom is in for ARKK, which is proxy for risk assets. And if you pick stock picking environment, if you pick the right risk assets, I think the bottom may be in, and that's how I've been playing it. So with that, I want to talk about some news, some sectors of news. First, man, Celsius. I'm really upset about this. Hard for me to talk about it because this is a VIP pick. We had a presentation. It was actually like a discussion between Jonah Lupton and Mark Gomes. Jonah Lupton first introduced it to me when I met him out in Orlando last summer, and subsequently was surprised to see Mark Gomes is also interested in it. And that's really cool when you have two different types of investors, a growth investor and a value investor, both liking a stock. Like, that's very powerful. So, but in any case, because of the volatility in the markets, I didn't feel comfortable holding it long term. I was like, let me collect some revenue income. So I sold covered calls and I'm losing it. My covered calls expire next Friday. I lose it at 73.50. So I'm a little bit upset about that because this is a really good chart. It's above all the key moving averages. Next resistance levels to me, it looks like 82. 82 looks like a resistance level here. You can see the top of the candles over here, the top of this candle, and the bottom of that candle is what I'm looking at, around 82, 82.50, 82.75, something like that. And then honestly, beyond that, I think this stock could be going over 100. If you haven't heard that video, you can head over to youtube.com/storytrading and also storytrading.com/Spotify, and you can find that it was a Twitter Spaces I think we did with Jonah Lupton and Mark Gomes. And that's just, again, very powerful when you have both a growth investor and a value investor agreeing on something. But in any case, I have to find a way to get back into this at some point somehow. Maybe selling puts, I don't know. But that's Celsius breaking out, one of the best charts of any growth technology stocks. You know, Growth. I should say growth, or not a technology, but the hot sectors, growth sectors. This is like one of the best charts out there. Pretty. All right. Some news out. I want to point out GME and BBBY. I don't trade either of these, but it's interesting because these both can be considered meme stocks, and they both had some news last night. And I like that because if there's a tailwind behind meme stocks, it could help other high risk assets, other like highly shorted stocks, and it may be playing with a little bit. But what was the news? GME announced a 4-for-1 stock split. And you can see the stock, it's pulling back a little bit, but it was up much more significantly this morning. So It's flirting with. It's above the 50 DMA. So can that news cause a little bit of a rally in highly shorted stocks and meme stocks? What's the short position on this now? Oh, still very high, 23%. And then we have Bed Bath and Beyond, which just got bloodied over the last 6 months or so. Had insider buy, I think it was like several 100,000 shares. I don't know I think it was two executives who bought. Wasn't a huge number from what I remember, but in any case, SEC filings show recent insider buying. So there were two executives with a decent amount of insider buying last night. That's also sometimes traded with the meme stock crowd 36% short. So could these two catalysts be a spark to start some sort of short covering rally? Meme stocks doing well, et cetera, et cetera. If that happens, that'll be good for other stocks I'm like kind of playing a little bit, and that includes AGRX, Agile Therapeutics. Man, we called this yesterday right before the close at like 68, 69 cents. I'm like, I think this is going to have a rally soon. It had a rally in after hours. I sold 1/3 of my position at 77 cents. I wish I sold them all. That was sweet. Like I picked the top there at after hours. Now we're at 68, 69 cents. So we got to wait for the next push to sell the rest of the shares. You all know the thesis on that. You should not a long-term pick for me at all. Don't like the fundamentals. There's like 50 million warrants out there, which is making it easy for institutions to short this and risk-free kind of trade for them. This company is burning cash. This is a Roe v. Wade trade. But there could be catalysts and sentiment tailwinds. There could be a push to make hormonal contraception OTC, and that can really pop this kind of stock. Stocks like this, very small positions for me, like a fraction of a percent. And so you got to manage your size and know the risk accordingly on these. SFET, something I pointed out yesterday. I pointed out during the day a 60 cent area to sell. I sold at like 59 cents. I did sneak back in at like 55 cents. I didn't tell anyone because it didn't have high conviction in it. All right. So I do stupid things that I don't tell you guys about, right? Just so you know. But when I tell you about it, that's better. Do what I say, not what I do. It's a good thing you don't know what I do. But in any case, yeah, I snuck back in this at 55 cents, but 59 was the top. Should have just stayed out of there for now. But SFET had a good earnings report. I'm just concerned that they're going to have to raise money soon. But this is worth investigating because it does seem fairly cheap, aside from the fact that they may have to raise money. So this is a cybersecurity stock. You can definitely look into that. We can collaborate on that. There may be something there. Does seem cheap, does seem high growth. But again, balance sheet, not necessarily great. So that's the story with SFET. VTSI apparently was on CNN again last night. I just saw that a few minutes before coming on. So I want to find the online link and take a look at that. So I'm curious how they're doing this. If VTSI is contacting CNN, if CNN is finding them, but apparently now two high profile segments on Vertra in like 2 weeks. So very surprised that the meme traders haven't picked this up and saying, Uvalde play or police safety play, whatever it is, police shooting play. It's interesting to me that it hasn't happened, and I'm not when it does happen, I'm probably not going to benefit from it because I keep selling covered calls on my overweight trading positions. Yesterday I sold more at 20 or 25 cents. 25 cents. So $5.25 is my break even, not my exit on that. If in case it goes higher, I'm not going to benefit more than 5.25. I do have a fairly big core in my IRA that's not covered though, but in my trading shares, I was initially hoping for this to pop like a buck or two on everything that's going on in the culture and on these CNN spots. So we'll see if that happens. I need to make a correction. Yesterday, CLF, I said this was a call stock. It's not. I'm sorry. The call stock was BTU. I don't know why I mix them up. This is actually steel. So this is what I sold the covered calls on yesterday. I'm sorry. I sold the cash secured puts on. Now I have two cash secured puts. It's that I sold PLAB and CLF, and both of them are looking good to expire worthless. I hope we'll see. So that's the story with those. And remember, I picked this up because it was nearing the 200-week moving average, so I thought it could be a good spot to sell some puts on that. Um, that's the story there with CLF and PLAB. CLFD, we're getting lots of good commentary from Chris Harbert, who presented this to our community. Lots of bullish news out there, making me feel really confident. So definitely, if you're part of the VIP community, you can have those discussions with Chris, and could be a couple good quarters coming up for CLFD. So this is a recession-resistant telecom business, PE 26, and hopefully dropping. So very strong chart above all the key moving averages. That's with the CLFD. So big thanks to Chris for keeping us informed almost daily on the positive flow of nuggets coming in for CLFD. And we're just waiting for Dario. I did want to point out GLBE. This one, if you guys remember, I called the low, the capitulation low on this the night after this candle when it hit 1563 because the volume was insane. And that turned out to be true. There's another one where unfortunately I got in, made some money, sold covered calls. This dipped a few days ago to like $20, and I was up pretty significantly, so I took profits, and now it's breaking out above the 50 DMA, 2050 cross. So things are looking really good, and I think the ultimate bottom is definitely in. I called it right that night at 1563 was the bottom. GLBE, and this morning they have a upgrade price target raised $30 from 25 at Key Bank Capital. So catalysts keep on coming. The chart looks good. We had a presentation on this. This is a VIP pick. You can go see that presentation again at youtube.com/storytrading on GLBE. I just also, when I looked at that, I noticed KeyBank downgraded Square, lowered the price target from 180 to 80. So this used to be a big favorite of mine. I initially bought it at $25. Sold it at about 100. So I made good money on this, but I missed that whole big run. And for a while, I was like, damn, I'm stupid. FOMO, whatever. Like, not FOMO, but regret. But I stayed out of it that entire run to 280. Now that it's back at 65, it's below where I initially sold it at 100. And I'm going to keep my eye on this. I don't know. Maybe worth a little bit of homework. I'll take a look at their fundamentals. We'll see it's a $38 billion market cap. It's now trading in between the pre-COVID high and the COVID low, right at 65, basically at the steady state level was at for a year or two before COVID hit. $65. I don't know what that means in terms of market cap or enterprise value. I'd have to look at that, see if there's been any dilution since. But that's something that went on my radar again because, again, KeyBank, I saw that news flow about price target changes, and they had both GLB and Square they were talking about there. So that's an interesting one to possibly keep an eye on. And that's it. I'm still holding Stern, 230 average, waiting for 270. Still holding XXII, $2 average, looking for a bit higher, at least 200-day moving average on my trading shares. I do have some core. SMR kind of woke up yesterday. Is that nuclear energy play? I got the warrants. The warrants very strong yesterday with high volume. So I love their technology, what they do there. That's it, man. Let's see if there's anything else. SMSI, we had a presentation on Sunday night. Can't tell you what was divulged on that one. That was a live session for VIP members only. Actually added a little bit more SMSI this week after that presentation. Don't read into it so much. I was pretty underweight, very small position in SMSI, so I just increased it a little bit. So anyway, that's just Oxy's over 60. I sold covered call. I'm gonna, sell covered calls and then it goes against you. I hate that. Anyway, I sold covered calls on Oxy last 2 or 3 weeks in a row. It worked out for 2 weeks. Let's see. This week I sold again $60 covered calls, so I may lose the stock tomorrow. All right, so that's the story. Let's check for any news in the last 15 minutes. Let's see. ADM. What is ADM? Is that an agriculture stock? Let me just check, guys. I don't remember what ADM. Oh yeah, it's Archer Daniels. Yes, I always get that mixed up. It's Archer Daniels. No, ARCH is a call company, and I think it's like Archer Midland. Let's see what Arch is called over there? No, Arch Resources. Okay, so Arch Resources is the call company. Never mind. Detour, Education, all learning together. All right, so let's go back to 9 a.m. ish. Meta, TGB. Oh, this is an interesting one that I think Matt and a couple other people in our community. Ooh, commodity crushed it. All right. So anyway, maybe we'll re-engage with people in our community to find out what's going on with TGB. I know a few people like this stock. Extends copper price protection with collars for first half 2023 on 30 million pounds. You think I know what that means? No idea. All right. So we'll have to ask around. That's it, guys. So kind of complacent market, which could be a bad sign. Complacency is never good, but be careful because we got earnings coming up. I wouldn't be like, TQQQ, margin, call options on indices. Don't do that, man. You don't know what's going to happen with earnings in the next couple of weeks. So chillax, take it easy, manage your risk, pick good stocks, and we'll be communicating in our chat room. Take care.